Так. Okay, so today we'll talk about how to draw guns. So here I practice myself and I have some certain program about how to improve in drawing firearms and just like to study different models. Так, so here organize my windows. Так. Yes, so let's say first, here are some sketches from my previous sketchbook. I have a tour, sketchbook tour to the sketchbook. So in here two interesting tips from other artist tutorials about drawing gun. It's like you should to consider about fingers when you draw handles. So to be sure it will be like all finger have their place, like inside guard. Here can be a finger and enough place for rest of three fingers. And about basic construction of a firearm, it's a barrel, bolt, buffer and magazine. So you need to be sure magazine is and bolt the kind of place together, because it's like cartridge from magazine going up to bolt. So, and also extraction port, usually it's near bolt. So and here some example of different guns, like shotgun and different rifles. Okay, so and then I have a sketchbook for drawing firearms. Here I also draw some data for myself. It's like about what kind of firearms can be, like what kind of types. So here it's like two type for people can hold in his hands, kind of. It's a handgun and long gun. Handgun is kind of pistols and revolvers. Long gun, it's mean gun when you need to kind of put on your support with your shoulder, kind of, you know, this rifle, shotguns, submachine guns and machine guns. So here this basic construction of pistol. So also can find all this internet. So this kind of what I preferred first to understand, like in the words, in the terms, what is construction, just very general. What is construction, what is main mechanism, how it works. So to understand logic and understand like this main type, main construction elements. So here I make some also drawing from tutorial in internet. On YouTube have tutorial where explain like how all this works. Like this recoil, moving slide on a pistol, and then because here have this ejector. So it's the ejector, he kind of push this part of let's go part of cartridge. So it's kind of afterfly because it's pushed by ejector. So you can see here ejector pushes on the left side, and here this extractor, he kind of have this hook which is moving shell, and ejector pull it out. So here also is two drawings about safety. So it's also kind of for artists, these small details are very important, because people who know about firearms, like how they should be used and all these things, I didn't know before. So here I draw for myself to kind of reminder. It's this safety with firearms. It's like how you place your finger pointer. You can put it on a guard like this, or can put on a frame. So you always can see like people who have this safety knowledge, kind of proper knowledge of how to use guns. Then when you don't shoot somewhere, when you don't point your gun to target, you should place your pointer on a guard or on a frame. Don't hold it here. Don't keep your finger on a trigger. It's stupid. Yeah. So always need to kind of put here. I mean, it's like for me, I never use guns, so I have no idea. But because I need to draw, so I teach myself this kind of thing from tutorials on internet. Also here I find tutorial on YouTube where a man was explaining about what type of handling gun. Like if it's a revolver, you can grip it with one hand, like here, and you can also use two hands. And here it can be like two types of cross fingers. Like you can cross your thumbs like this, or you can make it like this. So no, also kind of opposite fingers. So also in the drawing is kind of, you know, this kind of details important to have in the mind. So here I make this notes for myself. And with a long gun, it's need to put this in the shoulder, and also need to kind of press your cheekbone to this area here. And then you have like this double control, like with the cheek and shoulder. And say this important to reduce recoil from gun when you shoot, so it will be like also better for accuracy, and also like more safe, kind of this, yeah. So yeah, so like here you see on this example, here it's like put in the shoulder, but not cover with your cheek, so this means it's not locked. So it will have like more recoil and like less stable. So it's kind of, again, it's important, because before I didn't know it's like people really like kind of rest their cheek on a gun here. And also explain about two type of stance. So one stance is called weaver stance. It's like in the martial arts usually, you know, like in the boxing or maybe in the karate, like when it is like 45 kind of angle between legs. And isosceles stance is like when you just two legs like this, like symmetrical stance. Yeah, and again we can see here it's like two hand grip. Also he mentioned about like this isosceles stance can have, you can like just straight your hand, or you can like a little bend it in your elbows. So it's also two possible variations. So this kind of moments also important to mention, to notice to yourself, so later it's kind of some moments which you can choose and make decisions. Say like, okay, this guy, what kind of pose he stand, what is about his thumbs and stuff like that. You have more clarity kind of. So here I was just make some sketches of Taver It's very cool, like cyberpunk gun in real life. And then I make studies from Red Dead Redemption. Is have a website, I will put link in description. Have a website about firearms from movies and computer games. It's like Wikipedia, but about firearms in movies. So I find there have an article about firearms in Red Dead Redemption. It's my favorite computer game. It's crazy, very interesting and beautiful. So, and they have this list. I draw a bunch, like half of these guns, because it's a lot, and just to have some visual library and also some muscle memory for drawing different guns, like drawing different grips, drawing this chambers and triggers. So it's also very interesting. I very like shapes and design of guns. So and then when I was doing this, I realized it's kind of very good first stage for learning guns, because gun is practically gun is just like it's a side flat object. So I mean, like in the general form, it's a sight. It's like let's show here. So it's like we have one side, say like this. So this, like, most information is on the side of gun, and then it just doubles. Kind of we have same side from other side. No, I mean they're like little different. You need to kind of learn this difference between two sides. But my point is, like, if you get used to draw just flat side of gun, it's kind of 90% or 80% of whole gun drawing, whole gun constructions. Then it's very easy afterwards to make it look three-dimensional. So you can just may put it this third dimension, Z dimension, like in my tutorial about drawing in perspective. You can see I was talking about this. So here, so this one will be Y, this one it's X. So when draw flat like this, it's already Y and X, already two dimensions, and 80% about of construction of this particular gun. And then you just add Z dimension to make it like some depth, some volume, and then it just make some adjustment, you know, like, cause some have this like roundish shapes here, it's like different thickness, but again it's just like it's more like subtle details. And first, I think most essential, it's just to learn different look from a side view of different guns. So now I will draw some Russian guns, like AK-47 and etc. Just again to study this like gun visual library. Так. Okay. Okay, let's draw a bunch of AK. AK is like pop star. Pop star over guns, over rifles. Так, so we put here. So here is AKM. AKM. So first, actually, like even here have some tips in this simple thing. It's better to mark where is middle, because like most of gun, no, I find it's always consider it balance. Like so, it's have always like this middle point on a weapon, like you see. Something like this here, so it's like everywhere we'll have this something like middle area and a left and a right kind of side. And when you mark this middle point, it just make it easier to draw. So here, yeah, so AK is like 4 equal parts. So 1 part for this thing, 1 part here. So what interesting thing about AK, for example, like AK-47, AKM, and AK-74, it's like they have 2 different calibers. Like this one, AKM, it's 7 caliber, and AK-74, it's a 5 caliber. So it's make magazine in different shape. Like in a 5 caliber magazine, it's more flat, like this, more straight. Here in a 7 caliber, it's a more curve. And it's interesting thing when I was studying about all these different features of guns. So I find what is difference between calibers. Again, it's like, you know, information for people who never use guns, for artists. Yes, so kind of main difference, like a bigger caliber in this kind of for AK. Bigger caliber is more heavier bullet, so it's like it's more, it's a stronger, but it's also have a shorter distance, so it's like will fly more like this, will fly and have a more gravity kind of. But 5 caliber bullet, because it's less heavy, it's fly more farther, but also it have less power, so like stopping power. Like this caliber 7, it's very crazy. It's like can shoot through walls, like break limbs. A very crazy thing. So, and say like if shooting on a long distance, like in a field or in the mountains, soldiers will use 5 caliber. But for shooting inside city, kind of inside short, no, like inside walls, in a city area, it's a 7 caliber more useful. Also because it will have less ricochet, because this 5 caliber will have much more inertia, so it will fly all around. So, and even in for this reason, actually usually you can see like SWAT, like special forces who make operations inside city, inside buildings, they use SMG instead of these big guns, instead of rifles, because SMG using pistol bullets, so they will like have much less inertia, and so will not cause ricochet on a building, because this with AK people just can shoot each other. So you can see it's like really strong bend, this big curvature here, strong bending. It's 7 caliber. Also call this Mac banana Mac. And this thing is used to this like safety controller. It's like now it's standing on a safe, but if you move it down here, it will be like a assault, like will shooting automatically many bullets. If you move it down, it will be like separate shooting. Так. Also, I recommend have a game, but actually, you know, kind of like mobile game. You can find it on iPad or on even on the phone. But I prefer in Steam, so I can have a big picture. It's a World of Guns. So there you can assemble and disassemble different type of guns. So it's really cool, also very cool 3D reference for different models, different guns. Also will put a link in description, World of Guns. So I find it's like very good, useful thing to just draw some pictures like this, some studies separately from your actual drawings, you know, from your illustration or whatever you draw. Because it gives you some this kind of acknowledgement when you kind of, okay, I already draw this gun before, so I can draw it faster and more fluent. So here, muscle, так. So then put some watercolor. So here is disassembled picture, disassembled again. So it's kind of, it seems maybe too much, but actually it's important at some moment to have like complete understanding of each element. And as always, for everything, like at first it feels like too difficult, because everything seems so special, like so unknown and new. But then when you study some of them for different guns, then you like start to see everywhere is the same principle, and it's like, or it's same things, same elements, or they have just some slight change, but you really know what each of element is function, kind of. And also it make you able to kind of design your own weapons, your own firearms for your story, like your sci-fi or fantasy, or have some fancy kind of guns, like Miyazaki, for example. You saw he have this like Mononoke, Laputa, or it's called about wolf girl. So yeah, it's Nausicaa, he have very cool this cartoon, and you can see like every time it's like kind of he make his own designs for his fantasy world, but actually all these models, they're based on real firearms, and he just like creatively play with this, with construction. So here in this first video, it's about this, just about side drawing, and then next videos will be more about like drawing with perspective, drawing firearms from different angles and stuff like that. Так. So here, let's tell you. So here make darker. So here, this one, it's for gas. So when this bullet from here fly to here, it will be like a gas behind bullet, because here's like have explosion, right? So from explosion, this gas moving bullet out, like have this gas pressure. So some of gas will go out here, and some of gas will be moved back here and moving this bolt. So when this bolt with this thing moves back, it's also open kind of open the space, so cartridge can move up, and after bolt move back and push cartridge inside cage here inside the kind of barrel. So this kind of thing is this gas pipe, and here this kind of gas pipe. So gas from here go back here and can make this recoil kind of for bolt. So also it's this thing, remember, like in a gun, like so this thing is bolt kind of moving. So it's like this here, this thing here, so like move back. Yeah, so and here we can see this elements, and this actually I need to look what is really purpose of this thing. Так. Okay. So here have modification. This with a night vision. Okay, let's draw it. also it's very beautiful negative shapes in all these firearms, you know, how they make here. And this all needs to follow. Так. All these shapes, negative shapes, it's what make firearms look cool. Too short. So here is a night vision. It's so huge. Так. So it's caliber 762 39. This night vision. Super. And also have a version with foldable back. Так. Sketcam want attention. And let's draw pistol. It's Makarov. This like this pistol mostly used by Russian police. Wait, busy, busy. Oh, thank you. And here interesting, also important detail. So this is extraction hole. This extraction hole here. You see, it's like more like magazine is here, but it's here because this slider will move on the left, and then it will be on exactly above magazine, so this shell can fly out. This Makarov mark. Or also call PM pistol Makarov. So here I will draw how it look when the slider is moved back. So again, it's like main purpose of this kind of drawing is just became more familiar with drawing different weapons. Because kind of at the beginning it's very stiff, very confusing, but more you draw, more easy it seems. And it's in this case, because it's not in perspective, then is no any rules how to draw. You can draw it from left to right, from up down, from bottom up. Just practice. Make mistakes or have lucky accidents, and became more familiar with the drawing, all these kind of things. Так. So it should became same, like draw pistol, gun, anything. Like it should be easy, like draw an apple. You just like kind of, okay, I draw some kind of gun, and you already kind of have in mind all these elements, and you can play with them, and it's just fun process kind of for you. And this what I tell myself. It's kind of interesting subject about self-education, because when I leave my art college, I understand it's a big difference when you grow up and when you're a student, because when you're on your own, you realize very clearly it's nobody who will tell you like 100% how things work. It has some specialist, some expert in some narrow subject, but nobody know everything, and especially nobody know what will work for you best. So you always kind of when you learn from somebody, it's still like you learn by yourself. You're doing self-education. You just have a different resource around. It can be people, it can be books. But all happen when how you work with this data around, how you work with all this material. This makes difference. And I find this kind of thing about planning kind of self-education. It's like your own college, and you make program of education for yourself, and then you test this program and you reflect what works, what not works. You keep good ideas and you get rid from wrong ideas. And then when something really work well and you see it can be used by many other people, then you can make some tutorial and tell people how to improve faster, how to save time and go in the right direction. Because it's like save time, it's not like you have super trick. It's about be more direct, more efficient kind of. Here we have this dismantle disassembled version. So this one caliber 918 millimeters. Okay, so I think for this video it's enough, just some demonstration, and so I will keep filling the sketchbook with this kind of side drawings, and next kind of step will be it's to practice drawing three-dimensionally in perspective. And kind of, no, of course I'm already draw some like pose with the guns, stuff like that, but I want to kind of put it in a practice, kind of, how to say, like more precise practice way. So when I will do bunch of this, I will also make some tutorial and demonstration of this. Share my progress and stuff, and also when we'll finish the sketchbook, we'll make sketchbook tour. Yeah, so see you in next video. Share this video, subscribe, write something in the comments if you're interested or have some request for next video. Bye bye.